The ton is about to explode with scandal, romance, and secrets that will change everything. The Bridgerton season for episode 5 trailer just dropped, and what we're seeing is absolutely wild. If you thought part 1 was dramatic, you're not ready for what's coming in part 2. Let's break down every single detail you might have missed. So, before we dive into the juicy new footage, let's talk about where we are in the story. Season 4 has been all about Benedict Bridgerton finally getting his moment in the spotlight. We've watched him struggle with his art, his identity, and his place in society. Part 1 ended with some massive revelations that left us all gasping. The relationship we've been watching build up hit a turning point, and now part 2 is about to show us the consequences of everything that happened. The trailer opens with a shot that immediately tells us the tone has shifted. We see the Bridgerton estate at dawn, and there's this heavy feeling in the air. The music is different too, more intense, more emotional than what we're used to. This isn't your typical fluffy romance anymore. Something serious is happening, and the show wants us to feel that weight right from the start. Then we get our first look at Benedict. And he looks completely different from the carefree artist we met at the beginning of the season. His expression is torn, like he's carrying the world on his shoulders. The camera focuses on his eyes, and you can see the internal battle happening. This is a man who's been forced to make impossible choices, and those choices are eating him alive. The next few seconds show us quick flashes of other characters. We see Violet Bridgerton with this concerned look on her face, clearly worried about her son. We catch glimpses of the other siblings, and they all seem to be dealing with their own drama. But the show keeps cutting back to Benedict, reminding us that this is his story, his season, his moment to either rise above everything or fall completely. What's really interesting is the way the trailer is edited. It's not giving us clear answers about what's happening. Instead, it's raising more questions. Who is Benedict looking at with such longing? What decision is tearing him apart? Why does everyone in the family look so serious? The show is playing with our emotions, making us desperate to know what happens next. The setting shifts to what looks like a massive ball, and we all know what that means in Bridgerton. Balls are where everything happens, where secrets come out, where relationships explode, where society watches and judges. The grandeur of this particular ball seems even bigger than usual, which tells us this is a major event in the season. Now here's where the trailer absolutely throws us for a loop. And I mean seriously, nobody saw this coming. There's a moment about halfway through where we see Benedict in what appears to be a private garden. And he's not alone. The person standing across from him is partially hidden in shadow. But we can see enough to know this is an incredibly intimate moment. The way they're looking at each other, the distance between them that feels both too close and too far at the same time. It's loaded with tension that you could cut with a knife. But then the camera angle shifts, and we get a clearer view of who Benedict is with, and this is where fans are going to lose their minds. The chemistry is absolutely electric. You can feel it through the screen. These two people are drawn to each other like magnets, but something is holding them back. There's fear in their eyes, mixed with desire, mixed with what looks like genuine terror about what being together might mean for both of them. The dialogue we hear is fragmentary, just pieces of conversation that the trailer is deliberately keeping mysterious. We hear Benedict say something like, "I cannot pretend anymore," and his voice is shaking. This is not the confident Bridgerton we know. This is someone who's been stripped down to raw emotion, someone who's finally admitting the truth to himself and to someone else. The vulnerability in that one line is heartbreaking. Then we get what might be the most talked about shot from the entire trailer. A hand reaches out, hesitates in mid-air, and then finally makes contact with another hand. It's such a simple gesture, but the way it's filmed makes it feel like the most revolutionary thing in the world. In Bridgerton's world of strict social rules and expectations, even a touch can mean everything. This particular touch feels forbidden, dangerous, and absolutely necessary all at once. The music swells at this exact moment. And the editing gets faster. We're shown rapid cuts of what looks like stolen glances at various social events, a look across a crowded room during a dinner party, eyes meeting during a dance. An almost smile that gets suppressed before anyone else can notice. The show is telling us that whatever this relationship is, it's been building for longer than we realized. These two have been orbiting each other, fighting their feelings, trying to maintain propriety while their hearts are screaming something completely different. What makes this even more intense is the reaction shots we see from other characters. Someone witnesses something they shouldn't have seen, and their face registers pure shock. Another character looks devastated, like they've just realized they've lost something important. The trailer then pivots to show us that Benedict's personal drama isn't happening in a vacuum. The entire Bridgerton family is being pulled into something that threatens their reputation, their standing, and everything they've built. We see a scene in the Bridgerton drawing room where all the siblings are gathered. And the atmosphere is thick with tension. This isn't one of their usual playful family meetings. This is a crisis situation, and everyone knows it. Violet is standing at the center of the room, and she delivers a line that's clearly meant to be a major moment. We can't hear all of it in the trailer, but we catch the words this family end. Protect what matters most. Her face shows a mother who's being torn between supporting her children's happiness and protecting them from a society that can be absolutely brutal. It's the classic Bridgerton dilemma taken to a new level. Then we get scenes that suggest the gossip mill is working overtime. We see Lady Whistledown's paper being passed around, and people's faces as they read whatever scandal is printed there. The whispers, the pointed looks, the fans snapping open as ladies lean in to share the latest rumor. The show has always been great at depicting how vicious high society can be. But this feels different. This feels personal and targeted in a way that's genuinely threatening. There's a particularly painful moment where we see Benedict walking through a crowded room, and the sea of people literally parts around him. Some are staring openly, others are turning away in disgust or embarrassment. He's being socially isolated in real time. And you can see him trying to hold his head high while everything inside him is crumbling. It's a masterclass in showing. Rather than telling us how devastating social rejection can be in this world, the trailer also hints at allies in unexpected places. We catch a glimpse of one of Benedict's siblings, possibly Eloise or Colin, standing beside him in what looks like a show of solidarity. There's a moment where someone, maybe a friend or an unexpected supporter, steps forward when everyone else is stepping back. These tiny moments of loyalty and love become so much more powerful when they're surrounded by judgment and rejection. We also see what appears to be a confrontation between Benedict and another male character. The body language is aggressive, defensive, as the trailer builds toward its climax. We're getting strong hints about what episode 5 is specifically going to deliver. And it looks like it's going to be the turning point for the entire second half of the season. There's a sequence that shows preparations for what seems to be the biggest social event of the season. Servants are rushing around, flowers are being arranged in massive displays. And the scale of everything suggests this isn't just another ball. This is something monumental, something that everyone in society will be attending and talking about for months afterward. The genius of what the trailer is doing here is building up this event as both a celebration and a potential disaster. We see glimpses of beautiful moments, people laughing and dancing, the kind of elegant spectacle that Bridgerton does so well. But then it cuts to darker images, a glass breaking on the floor, someone running through corridors looking panicked, a door slamming shut. The message is clear. Whatever this event is, something is going to go terribly wrong. Benedict appears again, and this time he's dressed in formal attire that's absolutely stunning. But his face tells a different story than his clothes. He looks like a man who's made a decision, a big one, and he's about to act on it regardless of the consequences. There's determination there, mixed with fear. mixed with what might be the first real piece we've seen on his face all season. It's the look of someone who's done hiding, done pretending, done living for everyone else's expectations. Then we get what's clearly meant to be the trailer's big final moment. Benedict is standing in front of a crowd, and the room has gone completely silent. Everyone is staring at him, waiting. He opens his mouth to speak, and just as he's about to say something that will clearly change everything, the trailer cuts to black. No words, no resolution, just that agonizing moment of anticipation frozen in time. The final few seconds give us rapid-fire images that are almost impossible to process. Someone crying, someone smiling, a carriage racing through London streets, two people embracing like their lives depend on it. And then one last shot of Benedict's face, and he looks free in a way we haven't seen before. Like whatever happens next, he's finally being true to himself. So after breaking down every frame of this trailer, let's talk about what we think is actually going to happen in episode 5 and how it's going to set up the rest of part 2, based on everything we've seen. It looks like this episode is going to be the moment where Benedict stops living in fear and starts living in truth. Whatever secret he's been carrying, whatever feelings he's been suppressing, it all comes out in episode 5, and that public moment we saw at the end of the trailer. That's going to be the speech heard around the ton. Here's what I think is going down. Benedict is going to make some kind of public declaration at this major event, something that goes against everything society expects from a Bridgerton man. This isn't just about choosing love over duty, though that's definitely part of it. This feels bigger, more fundamental to who Benedict is as a person. He's been struggling with his identity all season, feeling like he doesn't quite fit into the mold that's been created for him. Episode 5 is where he breaks that mold completely. The fallout is going to be massive. We're talking scandal on a level that even the Bridgertons haven't dealt with before. Lady Whistledown is going to have a field day, and we already saw hints of how brutal the social consequences are going to be. But here's the thing that makes this so powerful. Benedict isn't going to be alone. That support we saw from his family, those allies stepping forward, that's going to be what saves him from complete destruction. The show is making a statement about how love and acceptance from the people who truly matter can help you survive anything. Now let's talk about the romantic relationship at the center of all this. Whatever obstacles are standing between Benedict and the person he loves, they're coming down in episode 5. That garden scene, those stolen glances, the hand-touching moment. All of that has been building to a breaking point. My prediction is that by the end of this episode, these two are going to stop hiding. They're going to choose each other openly, publicly, and let the consequences fall where they may. But the show isn't going to make it easy. The trailer showed us that confrontation. That male character getting aggressive with Benedict, there's going to be opposition, possibly from family, definitely from society, maybe even from people Benedict thought were friends. Episode 5 is going to test every relationship he has and show us who really supports him when things get difficult. The remaining episodes of Part 2 are going to deal with the aftermath. How does the family rebuild their reputation? How does Benedict navigate a society that's turned against him? How does his relationship survive under that kind of pressure? These are the questions that episode 5 is setting up. And honestly, I cannot wait to see how they answer them. Part 2 drops soon, and if this trailer is any indication, we're in for the most emotional, most dramatic, most groundbreaking Bridgerton content yet. This isn't just another season of pretty costumes and ballroom dances. This is a season about authenticity, about having the courage to be yourself even when the whole world is watching and judging. Benedict's journey is going to inspire people, break hearts, and ultimately show us what it really means to live with integrity in a world that demands conformity. Get your tissues ready, because episode 5 is going to wreck us all in the best possible way.